but somehow you're taking me higher, higher. And I want you, and I need you, and I got you, and I'll never be happy without you. And I want you, and I goodbye to the guy I used to be, to the life I used to lead. Because now I see you're the only thing that matters to me. And the man I was before, he don't matter anymore. Because now I see you're the only thing that matters to me. Ooh, goodbye. Ooh, choir. Oh, it's over, baby. Stand in the choir, choir. And I want you, and I need you, and I got you, and I'll never be happy without you. And I want you, and I goodbye to the guy I used to be, to the life I used to lead. Because now I see you're the only thing that matters to me. And the man I was before, he don't matter anymore. Because now I see you're the only thing that matters to me. You're the only thing that matters to me. And I need you. I'll never be happy without you, baby. One more time. Goodbye to the guy I used to be, to the life I used to lead. Because now I see you're the only thing that matters to me. And the man I was before, oh, he don't matter anymore. Because now I see you're the only thing that matters. Goodbye. Ooh, goodbye.
Well, what's up, fellas? Welcome to the show. Welcome to Gabbing Games for, I don't know, the third, fifth, what's the fourth? I don't fucking know. It's the goddamn day of the I think it's the fourth is what it is. Hang on a second. Welcome to the show. It's good to have you here. Nice to see you. I'm Jaffe. Let us talk about video games. I see you guys in the chat. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for hanging out with me. That was, if you're listening after the fact, that song will obviously be cut out of the show, but that was Lawrence. And yes, it does sound like Huey Lewis, but it's not. It's relatively brand new, and I am a fan. We are going to be talking today about a really cool game that I am playing. I will be streaming it tomorrow. It is really, really neat, and I never thought I would like a game like this, but we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about really interesting observation about some of the right-wing grifters when it comes to Resident Evil 9, along with some other just weird things about these kinds of people. We're going to talk about Chris Raygun making me have second thoughts about playing Marathon and buying it when it goes live. I think it is tomorrow, but we will talk about that. We've got some new trailers to show. We have some Assassin's Creed BlackFlag information that I think really doesn't matter anymore based on what I played recently, of something else, a couple other things in there. And then of course we'll be taking your calls. That is currently listed at the top, pinned to the top of the chat. If you want to call in, you can click that link. You don't have to be on camera unless you want to. And that will get you on and share whatever you want to talk about. All right, let me get a sip of the bubbly and we will get rolling. Dustin is reading my chat. What is my chat? In the chat, Awesome Tatum says, Dustin, who is live streaming right now, is reading my chat. What chat? All right, here we go. Wait a minute. Let me put this over here so I can see everything. I apologize. Hey, look at that. Holy cow. Moneybags McGee in here. We got Machine XP. Gods of War for 26 months. He says, baby, I need you. I need you right back, baby. Thank you so much for that. And then he drops 5 David Jaffe gift memberships. You know we appreciate that with all our heart and soul. Thank you so much, Machine XP, for supporting the show. V8 Warrior, been a member for 6 months. Diet Coke Commanders, that song won't get you Taylor Swift, Jaffe. He says, you don't know that? You don't know that? It's quite possible. But you know, she's marrying that football player now, and I don't want to mess up his chances, so I'm just going to move on and find somebody else. Listen to this. Hardcore Darkness. Am I saying it right? Hard X-Core Darkness. Good God almighty. Moneybags McGee's rolled in and said, look at me, everybody. I'm the richest kid on the block. He drops 10 David Jaffe gift memberships. I got to tell you, buddy, between you and Machine XP, you guys are really making our night here. Thank you so much for supporting the show and letting other people participate as well. Thank you so much for that, guys. Okay. How do I say your name, though? Hardcore Darkness or Hard X Core? I don't know. The point is, thank you, buddy. Okay. Oh, goddamn right. All right, listen to this, fellas. I've been playing this game, and I want to say Hogue, that is the law guy. I've only met him once, but he's on Colin's shows a lot, and he was tweeting about this game, and I was very, very interested because I had seen the artwork. Let me bring my screen up over here so we can all share it and enjoy it together. Hang on a second. In that screen share screen auto. He was talking about this game that was on Nexfest, and I checked it out, and I have really kind of fallen in love with this fucking thing. I will be streaming it tomorrow on this very channel, but it is called Esoteric Ebb. I know it's a strange title. It's made by one guy, and let me turn down the volume so we can talk about it. It is an RPG, Dungeons and Dragons meets Disco Elysium. And I've never played Disco Elysium because I was just worried that it was way too much reading. And I just I love to read. I read books all the time, but I just, in games, I don't want to play that. But the art style and what Hogue was saying about this, and then seeing the reviews, it's sitting at an 88 Metacritic right now. I'm like, okay, let me just try the demo. And boy, oh boy, this is really, really neato, man. And I see Hector Howell in the chat there. I have gotten to play D&D more often this last 12, 16 months or so. And I've really, really just loved it. And I just can't really make the time to play it as much as I would like to. But this game is the closest I have come. And I am curious what Hector thinks, because he's much more hardcore than I am. To playing a D&D campaign. It seems like there is a great deal of player agency in the choices. Here's what I'll say I really like about it. When I was really thinking about, why do I like this so much, right? So if you look at games like Baldur's Gate 3, which I enjoyed very much, those games really seem to capture well the systems of Dungeons and Dragons. You most of your work in that, most of the loop in that is dealing with the moment-to-moment combat or positioning, or gearing out your character with lots of cool equipment and weapons and spells and all that. And that some of that is here as well. But all of those things are here, but they all serve the story. It feels more like this feels more like, if you remember, or if you've heard of those books back in the 70s, 80s, that were like choose your own adventure, but they also had RPG dice rolling. They were really big in the UK. They weren't very big in America, but it would have all the story stuff, and then your stats would determine parts of the narrative as well. And it really does seem in this game that it's less about getting caught up in a combat loop and you're just fighting and fighting and fighting. And oh, here's a little bit of story. It's like everything serves the story. Your stats serve the story. Your stats change the direction of the story. Things that you see and understand and things people will say to you, abilities, just like in D&D, are all tied to your stats. It's just this is a very hard game to talk about. And I have a feeling come tomorrow when I stream it, I think this is going to be a very hard game to stream. It's one of those things that I'm glad there's a demo, that you really just gotta play it. And I wanted to bring it to your attention. There is a demo right now on Steam. I do think this is coming to console, but I don't know if it's there yet. But it is from Raw Fury. It's made by one guy who loves D&D, and it is just incredibly highly recommended by me. If any of what I'm saying right now sounds even semi-compelling and semi-interesting, I highly, highly, highly recommend giving this a shot. I also want to say this, K-Nubs, thank you so much for the one gifted membership. That is very, very generous and very courteous and very kind. Thank you, buddy. Machine XP says, hey, I don't want to be left out in the goddamn rain. I'm a cool dude too. Look at my penis. This is crazy. No one's looking at a wink. Machine XP, thank you so much for the very generous 5 gifted members. That is very, very nice. Awesome. Tatum steps in, says 60K. Onward to 100K subs on this channel. You goddamn right, sir. Thank you so much for that super chat. Awesome, Tatum. And then Hardcore Darkness comes back and says, who's the man now, dog? He says it like Sean Connery. He drops another 10 gifted memberships. His wife's in the background going, give me my credit card back. I'm leaving you. But that said, Hardcore Darkness, thank you so much. That is incredibly generous, incredibly kind. I understand that you guys are saying that the lag is bad. All I can say is hit refresh. We are getting the place wired for fiber, but it's not yet. It's going to take a couple of days. And in the meantime, just bear with us if you can. But hit refresh. It'll, it's the best we can do. But I hear you. I apologize if it's difficult. But this is called Esoteric Esoteric Ebb. Very strange title. Sitting at an 88. Let's refresh. I think you're going to find this game starts to become talked about a lot as we get deeper into the year. There's something very special going on with this game. At least I think it is. And I very much want to see if I am in the minority or if you guys play it and you also agree. Let's see what the user reviews, critic reviews. Well, anyway, I've talked enough about it. You know what it is. You know what I'm talking about. Okay. Let's bring in Movie Maniac before we get to the next story. Movie Maniac, what's going on? How you doing, buddy? I can't hear you at all. I see you. You're moving great, but you're muted. And now you're frozen. You're frozen. No, it says now you're not muted, but I don't hear you. Yeah, there's you keep doing something where it goes from muted to unmuted on the let me see if it's on my end. Let me see if I can fix it for you real quick. But it does say muted. Okay. Did you just change something just now? Okay, don't change that because you're not muted now. So let me see if it's something on my end very, very quickly. 1 second. Settings. Okay, let's hide this screen. Okay. Say something real quick. Yeah, I don't think we can hear you, man. That's too bad. That sucks. We'll be doing calls throughout the show. Maybe when someone else calls in, if it turns out we can hear them, then we'll know it's on your end. If it turns out that then I'll fix it if it's on mine. But yeah, he's a mime, exactly. Sorry about that though. Okay. Okay, by the way, check out Tori Beyond the Gates. Cool game, says KP Projections. Okay, I'll look at it really quickly before we move on to the next story, which is about Resident Evil. Tori Beyond the Gates? What is this? What kind of nonsense is this bullshit? Oh, interesting. Okay, let's check it out together. Yeah, I'm also on Streamlabs Talk Studio tonight, which sometimes doesn't help with the lag, and I do apologize about that. We'll get it working when the fiber kicks in. Okay. So this is a game, a trailer. Well, in fact, you know what? We're going to save this. We're going to watch trailers towards the end of the show, and I will move this into that slot, actually. So we'll check that out. Okay, thank you for the recommendation, though. Very much appreciate it. So listen to this. This is interesting. PlayStation comes along and says, hang on. Okay, there's that. All right, let's see. Hector, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great. So yeah, this sounds like it was on Movie Maniacs end then. So thank you for that. What's going on, man?
I don't have a topic today. I just wanted to come in and help test the audio. Let's see if I'm hearable on the stream.
Yes, I think everyone can hear you. I think that had to be on his end. So it doesn't say
Okay.
you're muted on my end. It doesn't say you're muted on yours. It's just a working.
Let's see. Okay, cool. All good.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Hector. I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you
Bye,
soon.
man. There he goes, folks. Hector Howell, the great dungeon master himself. So many good looking indie games these days. It boggles my mind, says KP. Yeah. I mean, the game that I'm telling you about, the Esoteric Ebb, is one guy. I mean, he's got a couple collaborators, outsourced throughout, like 3, but one guy, man. And this is the craziest thing. It reminds me of, now I don't know, by the way, I don't know if this is going to happen or not, but I want to tell you, when I hear about a lot of these studios closing down and just how difficult the industry is at the AAA level, it's starting to remind me of what it used to be like back in the Super Nintendo and Genesis days, at least if you're talking about video games for kind of core gamers like us. The kind of games that a lot of you guys say they don't make anymore, they are making. I just showed you one. If you spent any time with Steam Nexfest, your mind should be blown right now. There's a game, we talked about it on the stream. You guys saw this already, right? It's called like Tension Attack, which is the Jet Set Radio, Crazy Taxi, Tony Hawk game where you play a bus in Japan on tracks. Or a train on tracks in Japan. It is all the shit that you say you want from the Dreamcast era, the 360 era. But here's what's really interesting is it's being made by 1 or 2 people now. That game I just showed you, 1 or 2 motherfucking people. Most of the games that I lost my shit over at Steam Next Fest, a handful of people making it. So here's my point. Back when we did Twisted Metal 1, I remember going to my boss because I didn't know much about sales and stuff. And I'm like, well, what are we hoping to sell? How many copies? And that was back in the day that if you sold 100,000 copies of a piece of software, that was absolutely batshit crazy good, right? And I don't think we're going to go that far back because I do think certainly the audience for core gamers has grown, not to the degree that it's grown for overall gamers, but gamers that are into that kind of stuff have definitely grown. And I think you're going to see, more than just 100,000. But the idea that now you can make, 2 or 3 people make a game and it sells 150,000, and that's a big fucking hit. Twisted Metal 1 cost $850,000, and it sold over 1 million copies at full price. So, I get it, guys. I understand. Refresh it. I cannot help you with we all know that there's a lag, but most of what I'm doing is talking. Do you really need to look at my beautiful face anyway? Give me a break. But that said, though, yeah. So I think it's going to be interesting to see if that actually ends up happening, because gaming is not going to go anywhere. If there's a crash, even when there was a crash, there were tons of PC games and Apple games being made. It's not like video games just stopped being made, but certainly, I mean, you saw Highguard. Come on, man. Highguard is shutting down after 45 days. I mean, that's almost as bad as Concord's record. Think about that. Just now, today, this very day, they pushed their final update, which has, it's tons of stuff. They were saving it and waiting, and they were going to spread it out. There's like a new character. There's a whole skill tree involved. I think there's a new map or a new weapon. I only played it for about a round and a half and I was done with it. But I mean, the idea of making games and working from that position, I think is just cuckoo for fucking Cocoa Puffs, man. If you want to make games, you're watching this show, just go make some fucking games, man. Hope for the best. We do not have fiber yet. We're waiting for fiber to come get installed. Jaffe, why is there a picture, says Father Alex, of a woman with an arrow pointing to her boobs in your thumbnail? Well, I'll tell you, we're going to get right into that. We're going to talk about Resident Evil. Before we get to it, though, I do want to say somewhat related. So Sony came out today and they said these were our top downloads in America on PlayStation Network. Now, it's mostly the usual suspects, but some of the new entries that made me pretty happy to see. I was very happy to see Reanimal in the top 10. I think it came in at 8, which is pretty good. I was surprised to see God of War Sons of Sparta so low, though. It wasn't even in the top 10 in either the UK or America. And I thought everybody was like, oh, it's, I mean, I think it was too expensive. If it was like $19, maybe it would have gotten into the top 10, but it was absolutely not there for a $30 or $40 game, whatever it was. You guys are saying, talking about High Guard, I'll be honest, as KP, I feel like they could have just left that game and updated the game, just some quick tweaks, and maybe it could have had a comeback. Probably just a cost issue. Just, it makes more sense to shut it down and take a loss or something. But I didn't think it was a bad game. And I don't even think that the High Guard was a bad game. It just wasn't for me. But if you look at that game, the Imagine Dragon guys have out called like Last Flag, which I think between High Guard and Concord, Last Flag is actually the most interesting out of all of them. And I think the demo is still running. I have absolutely no idea if anyone's going to show up and play that game, but it's definitely instantly more fun. This is the thing. You know what we're going to say? Okay. No, we'll stay with Resident Evil because I promised, but we'll get back to that because there's something really interesting going on with Marathon, Arc Raiders, Last Flag about this sort of first blush of a game and how important it is becoming. But okay, so yeah, Sons of Sparta didn't do too great. And I don't think it's ever going to be higher than that. I think that's as good as it's ever going to get unless they drop the price to like $7.99 or something. But of course, no surprise, top of the charts, Resident Evil Requiem for February, which means that game came out, like 3 or 4 days before the end of the month, and it already shot to the top. They sold 5 million copies since it's been out, which is great. It's a great fucking game. I know a lot of you guys in the chat have been watching, have already finished it, but I have not. I'm only at the part where Grace is doing the puzzle with all the little batteries she has to switch around to open up doors. I love it. I think it's great. But this esoteric ebb has pulled me in. But anyway, so this is what I think is really fascinating. So Resident Evil Requiem is out, does really well. And I'm kind of just, as I do, reading the news, watching the internet, how are things going? And this L Locon Gamer tweets this out. I'm going to show you a picture. Look at this goddamn thing. He says, and this goes to Alex's question about her boobs, her bosom, her ample bosom. If you've played RE9, you know that Grace is, I think she's a real cute character. I love the performance. She's great, but she is not, she's not well endowed, in the boob area. She's, semi, what, I don't know what size, but whatever. She's fine, but she's not like a swimsuit model. Somebody put a mod out and says the first mods for Resident Evil Requiem are already starting to come out. And the first one is to enlarge Grace's breast. Thanks to the modders for correcting all the DEI decisions of these companies corrupted by the woke agenda. Okay. So shut the fuck up. Number one. Yeah. Small boobs is DEI now. I want to show you something, but first, before I do, I just want to say these incel morons, it's no problem if you like big boob ladies. A lot of people do. I happen to think Grace looks better without massive boobs. I think she's super fucking cute. I'm a big fan. But whatever you're into, go with God. I don't give a shit. Okay. But you know what, man? You guys are so fucking stupid. Okay. I didn't push back on a game like Stellar Blade because Stellar Blade is clearly over the top fantasy, sci-fi, heavy metal magazine, just like God of War was. It is a fever dream of a fantasy, both in terms of violence and action and sex. And it is perfection. Don't change a goddamn thing. No problem. But when you look at the graphics of Resident Evil 9, now, yes, it's meant to be like a B movie, but name any other entertainment medium except perhaps 90s Image Comics, where just because a woman is in the story, she is drawn or presented as a total fucking sex pot. Can you imagine the graphics of this game being what they are and the intensity of this game being what it is? And then you've just got this over the top chick who feels like she's like at a Victoria's Secret runway show. And you're like, what the fuck is this? You don't get it both ways, morons. You don't get to say, I want games to be art. I want them to be photoreal. I want AAA exclusives that look like reality. And then you're like, but I also want them to look like they've stepped out of my wet dream when I was 14. That's number one. That's number one. But it gets better, my friends, because we have the best Discord on the goddamn internet, right? Which is the I don't know what it's called, the Jaffe Games, wherever the fuck it is. We have there's this guy who's been going around forever doing all this shit. Yorch Torch Games. He is one of the worst of the worst. He's up there, maybe not as bad as Grums, but he's up there. Here he is right here. He's talking about if you go to his site, here's his whatever it's called, his thread, his page on Twitter. All it is the same old shit, come on, man. All this shit, all that, and I hate anything that's not basically tits and ass in your fucking face, right? 90% of his content is this crap, is this shit, okay? Like this. I mean, really, I'm not saying that's what the final character in the goddamn God of War remake, not remake, but when you're playing the woman, Freya, whatever her name is, needs to look like. Look at it, he's saying, we won't accept anything less. I asked Grok to fix her design. Dude, if this is what she looked like, tell me this guy's a fucking troll. Tell me this guy is a fucking troll. There is no way this should be what this looks like, a goddamn cell phone game ad where it's like, only men over 25 are playing this game and they can't stop. What is wrong with this guy? But I figured it out. Actually, I didn't figure it out. The brilliant people over in our Discord figured it out. And if on the some chance you're hate watching, yes, I'm talking about you. You're a fucking moron. If you want God of War with all of its attempts at realism and photorealism and gore and violence and energy and all of those things to be this kind of a game, you don't understand any of the God of Wars, even the ones I made. This woman wouldn't fit into my fucking God of War. And I would definitely push my God of War to be a lot more overtly sexual, but there still was practicality to it. It's ridiculous. Well, now I know why it's ridiculous. Do you know this guy, Yorch Torch Gaming, this guy? You know who he really is? Look at this motherfucker. This is the guy, apparently, at least according to my Discord. Now, maybe I'm wrong. Now, look, I'm not the belle of the ball. I'm not the fucking belle of the ball. I'm not look shaming anybody. But when you look like this guy, when you fucking look like this guy and you are out there banging the drum every day about what we want and what men want, buddy, you weren't invited to sit at the men table. You were probably shoved in a fucking locker when everybody else was eating lunch. You have no say in this. You have no experience with this. You've probably barely ever had sex in your fucking life. And if you have, I don't know. I feel bad for the woman. That's who he is, according to my Discord. Now, maybe they're lying to me, but they didn't. Are you shitting me? Are you fucking shitting me? This guy thinks he has a right to have an opinion? This ugly ass motherfucker. Sorry. And I say that as like a 40-pound overweight bald guy. I'm not writing checks here that my body can't cash. I understand where I'm at on the visual pecking order. Okay. But this motherfucker is the one that has this fucking account. All these modern feminists and soy boys whine about the goonership. Bitch, you're the biggest fucking soy boy I ever done seen in my goddamn life. What are you talking about? Look at this. Men built the gaming industry. Okay, well, it ain't you. Never forget that. We're taking gaming back by making sure all woke trash fails miserably. Bitch, you didn't build shit. You didn't build shit, you fucking moron. Good God Almighty. The male only dev team everyone talks about, the female only dev team everyone talks about. I swear to God, I just want to let you know this is what he looks like. So the next time you see this guy, let's talk about this for a moment. Why is it that, because Grums is an ugly motherfucker too? You guys have seen Grums, right? Grums is my favorite because Grums has a pose where he put that on his fucking dating profile and thought he looked like hot shit. I hate to just be a dick about the way people look, but their whole career is built on the bones of making fun or mocking how other people look. So I figure they've kind of asked for it, right? You're telling me this guy, this fucking hillbilly inbred motherfucking guy has an opinion? And how come all of them put cartoons there? That Yorch guy's got a cartoon. This guy's got a cartoon. I got a cartoon, but you guys know what I look like. I'm on camera all the goddamn time. The fuck are these people doing? How are people being listened to? Anyway, as a vegan, says end user, I find the slur soy boy offensive as I eat and drink soy. Yeah, I like soy, I guess. I don't know. Grums is an incel. Grums is annoying as hell and his game will never release. He's a scammer. I agree. I totally agree. I mean, look at these fucking morons, man. Look at that. He thought he was like, this is going up on my Tinder profile, wherever he puts his shit. Anyway, there you go. That's your boy. These are the leaders of your revolution, incels out there, you fucking morons. This guy and this guy. Go with God. Do you realize neither of these guys could get into a club? Like if they went downtown LA, New York, San Diego, Chicago, none of these guys would be let into a club. Like unless they had so much fucking money and they were going to bottle service half the goddamn people in there, there is no fucking way they would get anywhere near the entrance to that fucking club. And yet they're talking about it like you guys have no experience with tins. You have no experience with tins other than the cam girls you pay. And you know you ain't going on camera with them. Because you know the minute you open up your camera, you know they have to pretend. At least you can keep the fantasy alive if you're just using your fucking voice. Maybe not every gamer is an incel. No, most gamers are not incels. Not at all. Not at all. But these two, I don't have any evidence. I'm not saying it's a fact, but it certainly feels true, is what I would say. So there you go. What an ugly son of a bitch. Let's move on. I'll tell you something. Yeah, they never get invited to my party. He says, yeah, fuck yeah. Listen. I missed the super alpha part, V8. What do you mean? So nobody said every gamer's an incel, says Eternal, but the way Grums looks and acts, he likely is one. Well, I just think when you look like that, like if you had a guy, like who's a really good looking dude, like Henry Cavill. Okay, Henry Cavill is a very good looking guy. All the ladies like him. I assume the gay folks like him. And he is a total geek. He talks about gaming and building PCs and what's the goddamn Warhammer. If you revealed yourself as Grums to look like Henry Cavill or Yorch to look like Henry Cavill, at least people would say, all right, well, I don't like what he's saying still, but the dude's just wants his video games to reflect his real life. And that's a guy that probably gets almost any woman he wants if she's available. But when they look like this and their big thing is not, I want to stop piracy in video games, or I want to pass a legislation to make, I don't fucking know, that's where they fit in. You pass the legislation to make it so Discord doesn't have to see your face to get onto the internet or whatever. That's what you do well. That's what you rolled when you rolled your character as a baby, as an infant. You don't get to have an opinion on the women in video games, you fucking morons. Grums, whoever that is a nobody, but game devs are mostly like this gentleman here and take it too far and ruin their own game with the politics and stuff. I don't know what gentleman, the Yorch, that guy. Jaffe, can you explain Selena Gomez's husband? I really can't, but you know what? Yes, I can actually. We had friends out of college, and she's a big shot lawyer at an entertainment company now. I'm not going to tell you who she is, or what company, but she married this guy who I like very much. But this guy is like, he would lift up his leg and like fart on her head when she was on the couch. And she just thought it was the funniest goddamn thing. And we were just like, dude, what do you see in this guy? He's a fucking Neanderthal. But underneath all of that, he was loyal, he was sweet, he was goofy. And probably when you're Selena Gomez that can get almost any man you want at this point, somebody who's just real with her and lets her relax and let her hair down probably is a much more interesting fella to be hanging out with. Another interesting fella to be hanging out with is, of course, Submachine. I always struggle with this name. Submachina Official. I don't know. But thank you so much, Subby Sub. I'll call you that for the 5 gifted memberships, buddy. We appreciate that very much. Thank you so much for supporting this fine television program. It's not on the TV. You might be watching on the TV, though. Listen to this, though. I'm not, okay, let's take it down a notch, folks. I've had a little bit of an existential crisis. And NeoGAF is what gave it to me. Now, I'm not doing a bit. I'm not fucking with you guys. There was a image that went around. I'm sure you saw it, which was from the God of War TV series a few days ago. I think it was on Friday, and it made a lot of news. A lot of people talked about it. I did a video called "What the Hell Is This?" where I pretty much said it was stupid, and it looked like Kratos was taking a shit in the woods. And I made it clear in the video. I'm like, look, I think I'm not worried about the show. I said, this is a show that's run by Ron Moore, who has done nothing but great work. Corey is involved, and I think he is very good at storytelling. Don't adjust your antennas on your TV. That's right. I think he is very good at storytelling. I have no doubt that even though this may not be my favorite show of all time, I think it's going to be a quality show. And I made that clear in my video. But I think this image is incredibly stupid. Jaffe got a Push Square article. Jaffe got a Variety and a Hollywood Reporter article written about me. I'm like, I've never been in those things. I mean, back in the day, but not in a long, long time. Listen, having a high platinum trophy count, says One Pump Man, thank you for the super chat, helps getting women, but you still have to treat them like humans. I'm almost certain that one of those things in that sentence is a lie. But thank you, buddy. Thank you, buddy. So many of the comments, says K-Nubs, I've seen on socials go something like, wow, Jaffe finally has a base take. I always have base takes. The problem is they just don't actually listen. It doesn't matter. I don't want to get into that. The point is the image itself was stupid. And Trees Go to War says, is that a real trailer? It looks like AI slop. Well, it's not a trailer. It's just an image. And so many people were trying to defend this and say, well, that's a costume test or it's a screen test. Well, first off, you don't know what you're talking about. Screen tests are done when they are trying to figure out if the actors they might want to hire have chemistry together. That's not a screen test, and it's not a costume test. And here's how I know. Because Amazon Prime, who's funding the show and has made a deal to put the show on the air for 2 years, they've committed to 2 seasons, no matter if it's shit or not. That they put this out. This is coming from the Amazon Prime account saying, here is your first look at God of War. This is a real shot that they wanted to put out. Whether this is a grab from the show or not, that they've already started shooting, I don't know. I don't care. But they put this out and said, judge us. We are advertising to you now. This is what we want to show you. Okay. You can watch the video if you care about my thoughts on it. That's not the reason I had an existential crisis, though. Somebody posted in this thread on NeoGAF, and I just want to read you a little bit of it because I really had to stop and think about this because, well, let me just tell you what they wrote. Okay, it says, okay. There have to be some guys, this guy wrote to me, like Corey, that you respect enough to want to be nice to. If some guys you worked with back in the day played Calling All Cars, it was a game I worked on that didn't do well. People liked it, but it didn't sell. If they were playing Calling All Cars or something and just shit all over the game and posted it on the internet, wouldn't you think that was rude? There has to be people working on these numerous God of War projects that either know you or maybe want your input that feels disrespected by some of the negative God of War stuff you posted. And I really thought about that. And I still don't really know how I feel about that comment because it's a really important thing for someone like me to think about, which is I go out of my way in these videos to, I made it clear in this video. I have great respect for Corey's talents. I have great respect for Ron Moore. I have great respect for PlayStation Productions. It's not like I'm just this rage guy that tears everything apart. But when I am getting into the reason I'm making this particular video or something like it, I kind of feel that my honest response is something the audience values. And my response comes at it like a gamer versus someone who's just obviously towing the political line. But I thought about it and I don't really know. I don't really know. It's not a bad point. If somebody who was like, if Shannon Studstill played Drawn to Death and said, dude, I love Jaffe. He's great. He's a friend, blah, blah, blah. But boy, that last game he worked on was just, I thought it was absolute crap and just total shit. But again, Shannon's a really good friend of mine. So I probably would be more affected by that. This doesn't feel that way because I don't know these guys that well. And I do feel that I'm coming at it more as a fan. I think maybe that's what it is. My relationship with Corey or Sony Santa Monica these days or anyone at PlayStation is not, other than Scott Rohde, who I haven't even talked to in a couple of years, but I still have great affection for the guy, is not what it used to be. Because so many of those people are gone. And so I don't really have that feeling about, being that way. Cause I do think maybe what it is I would have been more, I wouldn't have addressed it, or if I would have addressed it, I would have been clear, but I probably wouldn't have been as over the top obnoxious, which is part of the job. I mean, it's theater, it's performative. The intention behind it, the information behind it is not, but that's the world we're in, right? I mean, everybody sacrifices at the altar of capitalism, even these people making the shows, even these people making the games. You justify it to yourself. Oh, well, this isn't going to bother anybody, or this is an M-rated title, so kids aren't going to play it. So I'm not going to worry about putting stuff in there. Well, good and goddamn well, kids played God of War and Call of Duty and Mortal Kombat, and we knew it at the time, and they knew it at the time, and we looked the other way because we knew it was good fucking business. So everybody does that kind of shit. But at the same time, I do think part of it is maybe you guys, not you guys, but the people coming at me like this think I have a different relationship with Corey. Corey and I are not friends. I'm not friendly with him. I have great respect for him, but we're not friends because we don't live in the same city. We never really hung out. We were colleagues, and I consider him a great colleague and a very talented guy, and I'm excited for his new game. But it's not like Shannon. It's not like somebody that I'm like, oh, I couldn't imagine doing that to a friend of mine. I'm like, it's business. And it kind of reminds me of when that guy, Kyle Bozeman shit on Drawn to Death, and he hadn't even played it yet. And I was really pissed at him. And it wasn't until I started doing YouTube and stuff that I'm like, okay, he's not really serious about his hatred for the game. He may not like it. He may not think it's going to be very good, but his shit's amplified in the same way that mine is, right? And so I don't know. I'm not sure where I land on this. Maybe the wise Hector Howell can help me with my existential crisis. Here we go. Hector Howell, how you doing, buddy? What's going on?
I'm not bad, but I'm just hearing what you're saying. I've got some thoughts. So first, a couple questions. I mean, one would be, have the people who are working on present God of War products reached out to you privately for your advice?
Oh God, no. We don't talk.
If they did, would you provide it?
I mean, it depends on the extent that they wanted it. I mean, I don't really relate much to the new God of War stuff. So I don't know why they would really want my opinion, but if they asked me, I'd give them an honest take. And if they paid me, I'd give them a lot of an honest. I mean, I wouldn't sit there and give them, reams of notes for free, but I certainly would say, yeah, here's my take. Absolutely.
Right. And then the next is do you still care about God of War? I think that's an easy one. Like as an IP, like as a concept.
Not really. I don't really like, if I will watch the show because I know it's good for my channel to watch it, and I'm curious to at least watch the first episode, but I haven't really been interested in God of War since 3 ended. I liked God of War 2018. I thought that was awesome. I liked Valhalla a great deal. But for me, there's plenty of other action games out there that excite me.
Sure. Let me clarify my question.
Yeah.
I don't mean, do you like what God of War is right now? I mean, do you like Kratos, the archetype, the possibility of it as an infinite existent thing?
Well, what he is right now, I definitely don't like as a character. But I mean, so do I like? But I love the fact that and that's one of the reasons, not the only reason at all, but I was very enamored with what Corey did in 2018 because they gave it a new lease on life. I don't think it could have stayed exactly the way it was. I think ultimately after 2018 they went too far with it, and they've kind of turned it into a kind of lame franchise at this point. I don't think it has the cachet or the guts or the interest that it used to, but I love that it's out there. I love that when I'm dead and gone, it seems like some of these things I got to work on are still going to be out there, and part of me will have been part of that DNA. So, but I'm not invested in it. Like, I don't care about it, if that's what you mean.
Somewhat, I suppose. I mean, I feel like you care from certain things you say. When they do something that you're like, well, that's not as good as what they could have done. That to me expresses some amount of caring. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. I mean, I don't care. I don't mean.
Fair enough.
Well, I'm using your language, right? So how much do you care? I care in the sense that I'm interested. I'm curious. I like talking about it. I certainly am. Oh, let me play the next one. How'd that come? I got Sons of Sparta the day it came out. I'm like, oh, that's a neat. I've always wanted a God of War 2.5D. Let's try that. But when it comes to being like a fan of it right now, no, I don't consider myself like a big God of War fan. I'm like, it's fine. Like if somebody said, Jaffe, you can play Days Gone 2 right now, or you can play another God of War set in the Norse environment with the same kind of vibe as Ragnarok, I would say, to
get to what I'm
Days
talking
Gone
about,
2, please.
To get to what I'm talking about, if the offer was Greek environment, was the same tone and vibe with something new, something exciting as the old days.
Oh, well, yeah,
with
sure.
That, right.
Yeah, I mean,
so
that's one of the reasons I liked
saying,
Valhalla a lot, because there was a sense of like, yeah, it was still dramatic and adult, but it was also, there was a little bit of the fun peeking through again, which I think they lost.
So what I'm getting at is, and if you were still working with the studio behind the scenes, would you still be saying these same things you've said online?
Oh, of course.
Probably.
Yes.
Right. Less accentuated, less theatrical, all that, of course.
Right. But it's not the first time, even when I'm working with these people, I was accused of being difficult or opinionated. I mean, I'd like to think, since that, when it comes to the job, I'm a lot easier to work with and better at going, I'm not going to be mean about it or theatrical about it, but I would make it clear if I was in the room and they were asking me what I thought about releasing this image, I would be like, you really can't do that. This is really not good.
And that's why I was asking if you care, because I think you do. And the way I was articulating that is you're not saying these things. You're not being mean because you want to punch down or anything. It's because you care about it being awesome. Am I wrong?
I don't care if it's awesome or not. No, you're a little wrong.
Okay, fair enough.
If you pull me in and say, Jaffe, which soda do you like? I'm going to give you an honest opinion on that. Doesn't mean it's right. It's an opinion. But there's Max, who worked on all the God of War games with me, Alien Vertex, and worked on a bunch I didn't in the chat. He says, the Dave I know would have said it. Yeah, I would have said it, Max, but I probably, I'd like to think these days I would have been a little bit less, but again, people are, I have a whole channel that you guys are on right now of videos that are, this is me pontificating about the play mechanics of this little indie game that I found interesting. And it's got like 800 views, right? I mean, this is the world we're in. I'm sorry, but unless you are already at some stature of, pontificating on YouTube, you've got to kind of turn up and amp up things a little bit to get noticed. Sorry, but click on some other videos, folks. I didn't make the rules. Trust me, I tried to do the less controversial stuff. But if you watch the video, it's clearly not measured performance-wise, but it's a valid take. I haven't heard anybody say, no, Jaffe, this image looks fucking awesome. Have you heard anybody compliment this image and say, this looks great?
No, I mean, I feel like I've maybe looked at it and gone, well, maybe what they're looking to do is to just get a vibe check, and they're not really caring if people like it or not. And that's maybe the most positive take that I would think. But I just want to
that's a
try
hell
and
of a thing to do in public
I know,
on Twitter.
right?
I mean, you know.
Yeah, but no, but I want to try and reassure you a little bit here in the sense that of course it's going to disappoint people when you don't like something that is associated with the brand that you had a hand in shepherding. And of course, I think your opinion is relevant considering you are part of the DNA of what launched the rocket ship in the first place. But I think that in a way, it is very helpful to the people that are working on it right now to know, okay, this is Jaffe's mindset. This is how this hits him. So
maybe
the headlines are
I'm sorry, but you can't tell me that I'm the first guy to point out to them that this looks like shit.
Oh no. Oh no.
So that's the only thing I care about when it comes to this whole thing is has more to do is like who's making the calls that, you know what, fellas? Because you know they have so many options, right? I mean, hell, when you make a video game with box art back in the day, you're sitting there with like 40 comps going, which one should we focus on? This was not just like the only shot that they happened to get because, you know, I mean, they probably had 1,000 of these. And this is what dropped at the bottom of the funnel. And they said, that's the one, folks. Put that one. And then you got the actor saying, don't believe everything you see on the internet, kids. I'm like, well, you guys fucking put it there, motherfucker. Why not? Well, don't act like you're jumping the gun. You put it out there and said, judge us. That's what happens when you market something. I don't fucking know. Anyway, the other thing I'll say about it. Yeah. I mean, look, Max is on right now. Yeah, I get it, guys. It's lagging. There's nothing I can do. Just listen to it like a podcast. It's laggy. It just is. Okay. Or watch it back after the fact if you're interested, and it won't be laggy. But I'm assuming the audio is not laggy, correct? It's just the picture. But Max is on right now, and Max was the key effects guy on all the God of War games that I worked on, and other ones. And I see people in the chat that are going, you know, why did they kill the gore? You know, orange, you know, Gatorade is not blood. And I don't know if Max was part of those conversations. I imagine if I was Max probably said, what? I mean, I'll do it. I'm a fucking team player and I'm loyal and I'm dedicated, but what the fuck is what I imagine Max said, because yeah, I miss the shit out of the gore in the new God of Wars. It's really benign and it looks like orange juice flying out of the bad guys. It's nice orange juice. It's very well made, but it fucking looks like orange juice. It's crazy. Don't say why in the chat. Max, it wasn't Max's creative call. I'm almost certain he did the best he could with the direction he was given, is my guess. But I don't know if he feels comfortable talking about it. So, but there you go. Yeah, he just says because they went a different route. No, we know they went a different route, Max. We played it. What we're asking you is, did you go, what the fuck? Like, what was your take on the different route that they took when they toned the gore down? But, you know, I mean, I get it. I get it.
Started making things gory and they said no.
Huh. Yeah. You know, so anyway, it is what it is, I suppose. Okay. All right, Hector. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for calling.
Yeah.
I'll talk to you soon. All right, bud.
Have a good one.
Bye. Yeah. But yeah, it's fiery blood or whatever, says Eternal. Yeah, it looked fine. There's nothing wrong with it, but it wasn't, you know, it was one more thing that just kind of felt like they were embarrassed by the whole fucking early thing. And at which point I can just go fuck yourselves. Go fuck yourselves. The first thing was awesome. Sorry. Oh yeah, you goddamn right, Morgan. And now we have ultra gory Resident Evil 9. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, man. That's the fucking thing is, you know, and I hate to be tropey and quote the Wayne Gretzky thing about skate where the puck is, but by the time you are steering a huge ship like a God of War game and going, oh, I think the worm is turning on all this violence, by the time you come out, it's going to be turning again. Make what your heart and soul wants you to make. And maybe that's what Corey wanted to do. Maybe in his heart of hearts, he wanted to make something that wasn't so offensive to people. I have no idea. But it certainly wasn't. I didn't like that about it either, I'll tell you. Okay, well, let's move on to another game that might be this year's big character-based hit that nobody saw coming, because that was certainly the case with God of War back in the day. A lot of people put out their previews of Crimson Desert that comes out in a couple of weeks. I'm not going to go into it. You can read it yourself. I just want to, the biggest takeaway that I thought was really interesting is it almost seems like this is the game where the sequel is going to be the one that really blows us away, because everybody who's played it says, or most people who have played it says it's really cool and it's really deep and the combat is great. And, short of some frame drops and this, that, and the other, it's really, really cool. But it sounds like it's confusing. The AI is confusing. The story, at least so far, is kind of weak. It feels very much like it's going to be the game that comes out and it's a cult. Now, I don't know if this is true. Maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I'm excited for it. I hope it's a big fucking hit. But it feels like it's going to be the game that comes out and it doesn't set the world on fire, but there are people who really get it and love it. And then it'll be the next one. When you just read a lot of the responses, the people say it's just so fucking big and overwhelming and it might just be too much. And one of the concerns I saw someone say is that it almost feels like it's worst case possibly going to be like, Slop's everybody's favorite, descriptive these days. So, but they said like Ubisoft Slop. It's just going to be so much open world Slop that it's just too fucking much and it doesn't quite all gel together. But I am very excited for it. I'm looking forward to it. I will be getting it day one and streaming it and all that stuff. But I'm glad that the reviews were not, oh dude, this thing's a piece of shit. All right, let me get a sip of the bubbly. Let me also say KP says a trailer to see later, The Relic First Guardian. Let me put that in there real quick. Okay. All right. Probably right, says K-Nubs, like AC1, Assassin's Creed 1. They get the skeleton and they crank out a sequel within 3 years. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, hang on. Let me put up what's it called? The Last Relic, or The Relic, The First Guardian. Okay. 1 second. We'll put that in the trailer section. Okay, 1 second. I'll move this over here. All right. So I did a hang on. Okay. I did a video based on my playing of Marathon Server Slam. I think I put the video up on Friday. And the title was something like MEH, like Marathon, right? I played for the tutorial and then I played 2 of the matches. And that was more than enough for me. I was like, I don't get the big deal, whatever. It's just not for me. It's kind of confusing and it was kind of slow and, and I had come from playing Arc Raiders, and Arc Raiders instantly hooked me. Like I remember the first time I played that game and I was walking around and I was like, this world is so cool and these enemies are cool and I love the sounds and I love the animation. It just felt like a neat world to be in. And I was obsessed with that game for probably a month. And then I kind of wore out its welcome, but I loved that fucking game. One of the best games of last year, easily. I think it's excellent. And so it's not like games don't exist that grab you and multiplayer games don't exist that grab you. So I was just like, well, I mean, it's Sony first party, it's Bungie. There's already a game I own called Arc Raiders that's an extraction shooter. I guess this is just not for me. And that was the last I thought about it. And I had been tracking a little bit of people online, seeing the concurrent dip and seeing people considering maybe they're not going to buy their pre-order or they're going to get a refund on their pre-order. And at first the narrative seemed to be that this game is maybe not as bad as Concord, but in terms of its reception, but this is probably not going to be around for very long. This is probably going to be another in the line of service-based games that Sony just couldn't quite get right. And then I saw this post, and by the way, I'm saying all this because this game now officially launches. Let me just show you this real quick. I think it's tomorrow, 10 a.m. California time. Yeah, it is. And now, because of this post I saw, which I will show you, I'm kind of back going, maybe I need to just buy it. Maybe I need to just fucking buy it and play it, because I saw this post by Chris Raygun, who, when he was playing it, at first he just said, I'm having too much fun with Marathon. Okay, whatever. But then he said, 46 hours in, 30 levels deep, Bungie absolutely cooks with Marathon. There's so much more here than meets the eye. Deceptively deep build, crafting, a rich codec full of lore and intrigue, viscerally satisfying Bungie gameplay that had me going to bed at 6 a.m. for 4. That there is, if you take the time, and if you can connect with it, there's something really, really special about this game. And so there's my own personal thought of like, well, shit, maybe now I do need to just jump in and fucking buy the goddamn thing and just, give it a weekend. Maybe I'll buy it on Steam, because it's going to be on Steam, so I can I wouldn't refund it. I'm going to play it all weekend. So, but the point is, I should just fucking buy it, because maybe I will fall in love with it. But at the same time, I wonder about this. Like, I wonder, is this what Sony, or is this what Bungie knew they were getting when they signed up for this, right? I mean, the idea of a company as big as Sony and Bungie and spending this kind of money, making something that is genuinely really great, but is also really kind of a hill that you have to climb, and you have to have people sticking with it for a long time. And you have to be like, somebody in the chat says, where did it go? It's like, they said that it's very much PvP focused and frustrating if you don't have a group to go in and kick ass and loot and get the fuck out. If you look at something like Helldivers 2, which was a lot more friendly, if you look at something like Arc Raiders, which was a lot more mainstream, I wonder if that is what Sony thought they were getting, or that is what they were hoping that they were getting. But Xfil Shooter says Jonas are inherently hardcore. Yeah, but Arc Raiders wasn't, and that's what Arc Raiders made that game so special and so successful, is that I think they had Blizzardified the extraction shooter. And they said, oh, we're going to make this, but we're going to make it in a way that's not just for the super fucking hardcore players. And in that, they've ended up with a massive fucking monster hit. I wonder about this game. I wonder, did the Sony people go, oh shit, you guys, you need to, you guys need to really tone this down. You need to make it more friendly. Or did they think, no, you know what? If we're going to have a game that is going to really be big in this space, to just double down, we need to just double down, triple down on word of mouth is going to save us. It's going to be people talking about how deep it is, people understanding it, and then telling their friends, people making videos, and then it eventually starts to grow like one of those games that if you come to Dota 2 for the first time, or any kind of MOBA, you're going to be like, what the fuck? Oh my God. Tech is streaming at the same time, which is probably why, and he's doing his bits, and it's like, dude, settle. I wonder if they just like, no, we have confidence that it will grow with word of mouth, like those games. Like if you come to a MOBA, it's confusing as fuck if you don't know what it is. Guys, I totally understand. If you guys can hear me and the audio is fine, there's not much to see. I'm just talking into a microphone, fellas. So assuming the audio is fine, please let me know. If it's not, I'm just going to keep going. Otherwise, I'll just, wrap it up and I'll do a stream later tonight or tomorrow. But anyway, so I guess my point is, or my question is, are you looking forward to this? Are you guys picking this up? Or did if I hadn't seen Raygun's tweet and I hadn't seen a few other people on the internet talking about this, going, you're missing out if you didn't give it a long time, or you're missing out if you didn't go in with friends and all this shit. I'm starting to think maybe I should go back and give it another shot. But are you guys in the same boat, or did the server slam totally turn you off? I would be curious. And hey, I got so much to play though. Like I said, I'm playing this. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to wait because I still haven't finished RE9. I'm playing this Ebb Esoteric, which I'm loving right now. I'm still trying to finish Yote. The last thing I need is another game, but I bet like I didn't come into Arc Raiders day one either. Arc Raiders took me 2 weeks of hearing people raving about how great it was. And then I was like, okay, fuck it. Oh my God, this is great. So you know what? If in 1 or 2 weeks people are still like, holy shit, this is good. You know, I'll pick it up as I think what I'll do. Machine says, Jaffe, you just need 46 hours of marathon for it to start to get good. Yeah, no thanks. No thanks. Okay, let's move forward, shall we, my delightful friends? Where are we going today? What do we got? Okay, I'll come back to that. I want to talk briefly about Assassin's Creed Black Flag Resynced has been confirmed. Everybody knows that this has been something that's been on the books for a very long time. Ubisoft finally came out today. They gave an overall State of the Union for Assassin's Creed. Hex is the one I'm excited about. They lost their director recently with the big shakeup, Clint Hocking, who was a Far Cry 2 guy, really good designer. But that's still going. That's the one that's set in the Salem witch trials. Very excited for that game. Assassin's Creed Black Flag has been the only Assassin's Creed that I just loved, though. I just thought it was fucking fantastic. But they get to the table a little bit too late, my friend, because you know what? I don't give a fuck anymore about Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And neither should you. Neither should you, because the ultimate pirate game, and this is probably going to run at 0 frames a second. I can't help you. It's called Windrose. And this motherfucking game I played all during Nexfest, and actually it was out a little bit earlier than Nexfest. This game is the pirate fantasy you've been waiting for. It is so fucking good. And it is so rich in its systems. It is like a there's a big survival and building aspect to it, but there's also narrative to it. There's also shipboarding and sword fighting, and it is survival craft. That's right. Well, you're like, I'm not into the janky survival games. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, this is definitely not quadruple A. If you want a quadruple A pirate game, I guess you can play Skull and Bones or whatever the fuck Ubisoft put out. But this game is so good and so compelling and delivers the pirate fantasy, at least to me, better than any other game ever that I've played. And so I look at it's so funny because I just got done playing this last week. I went back after I finished the demo and I played it again, which for me is very, very rare. And now I'm like, oh God, who gives a shit? Fuck off. You guys got late. You came late to the party, Assassin's Creed Resynced. Look, you can fucking board their ships and all that. Then you can steal their shit and you fight the bosses. You go back to your base, build a beautiful pirate mansion. It's fucking cool, man. The demo, I don't know if the demo is running still. It might be. But if you're interested, you should definitely give it a look. Well, Eternal says to each their own. I had a blast with the OG Black Flag. I did too. I was excited for it. It was my favorite Assassin's Creed game. I'm just saying this for me is better. Sea of Thieves can match this as Protoss. I don't think so. I like Sea of Thieves, but Sea of Thieves was much more communal. I think this does have a mind player, God damn it. This does have a multiplayer aspect to it, but it's not, I didn't play any of it multiplayer. Sea of Thieves is very much a communal kind of game from what I gathered and what I played. This felt great doing it solo and just losing yourself in the fantasy. So again, it's around, it's out, check it out. See what you think. Okay. What else do we got? But yeah, that has been confirmed, and I'm excited for that, or I'm excited for Hex. I'm excited for that. This I'm much more excited for though. All right, hang on a second. Let's look. Okay. Speaking of Nexfest, just real quick. I'm not going to give you all 50 of them, but Steam Nexfest was a big deal. Marathon was at the top of the list, the number one played demo of last week. Then you had Burgling Gnomes, which I hear is great. Winrose is what I was just telling you guys about. Fantastic game. Vampire Crawlers took me a while to come around to. I didn't get the big deal. This is the kind of Slay the Spire meets Vampire. What's the fucking thing called? Vampire Survivors. This was pretty fucking good. Vampire Crawlers. Let me see if I can. Yeah, you'll see. It's really fun. It's really addictive. I'm not entirely sure I understand how deep the strategy is going to go, but it is, it's worth your time. I think the demo is still out, but this was the number 4 played demo at Nexfest. Far Far West was cool, whatever. It wasn't for me, but if you like to play a lot of, games like, kind of like a fun, really well controlling, what's the game called that, magician guy, Randy, what's the fucking guy's name? The goddamn thing with the guy shoot. God damn it, Jeff. He starts with a B. Oh my God. I'm not going to look at the chat. I got to come up with this on my own. What's the fucking thing called? It's Battle or Borderlands. It's kind of like that, basically. Whatever. It was okay. Outbound was fine. Toxic Commando disappointed a lot of people. That's the John Carpenter Left 4 Dead. This game honestly has a lot in common. I played this weekend with Hector. Archeron to me has a lot in common with the issues that Marathon has, which is it's actually kind of really interesting and deep and stuff, but it's fucking hardcore. And if you don't jump in and you don't commit with your friends to get really good, I think a lot of people are going to wash out from this game, but it's really good. I enjoyed playing it, but it requires it's a bit of a fucking learning curve, man. Also, Replaced was great. Replaced is this thing which is kind of like Inside, Limbo, Flashback, Another World. I played this on the stream last week. This thing was a great fucking demo. I really am looking forward to this. Really good stuff. I think some of these are on console. I know some of you guys are primarily console gamers. But again, if you can ever get around to getting a PC and afford it and want to, so much more stuff to play. And then this game, I'm surprised wasn't higher, but this game was batshit. This game, I didn't care for the Eternal Life of Goldman. I thought it looked great, but I just thought it was sluggish and not very much fun to play. But this game, Denshin Attack, man, holy cannoli, man. This game is the tits. I mean, what am I talking about with this fucking thing? What a weirdo, delightful, wonderful, beautiful fucking video game right here. The demo is out on Switch 2, by the way, for this, and the demo is also on PC. It will be coming to the other consoles, but there's no demo yet. But if you are even semi-curious in this and you have one of those two systems, my goodness, this is just like a fever dream of batshit insanity. It is so fucking much fun. I highly recommend this. Tons. So there was a lot of good stuff last week to play. And, I played a lot of obscure stuff too, that I'm sure I'll talk about over the next couple of weeks. But that's kind of the gist of it. So what I was going to do next is I was going to do trailers with you guys, but it sounds like because we're getting, that game is coming to Game Pass as well. The train game. It looks like we're getting some really bad lag. And so I think what I'm going to do is wrap it up for now, and we'll put trailers on the next Gabbing Games. And I think depending on how my night goes, I might stream some Resident Evil tonight, or I will stream this Esoteric Ebb tonight. But I want to get the internet sorted away because it's pretty bad. If you don't care about quality assurance and sitting at a desk for long periods, then sure. There's so much on PC you couldn't play in a lifetime. I mean, okay, you're just simply wrong, but sure. I can't help you with that. That's a you problem. I assure you, I don't do because that's painting me in a light that suggests that I like noodling with my computer. And I like fucking around with, I need to get some new drivers, and it's not true. It's absolutely not true, at least in my case. And your case isn't any more valid than mine. I think the reason that I think the reason that PCs are doing well with games is because people are starting to find that narrative is not correct. But if it's correct for you, then that sucks. But Back in the Swamp is a new game that just came out today. Yeah, K-Man says, loving Esoteric Ebb myself. Isn't it great? Isn't it fucking great? Okay, a first-person exploration adventure set in a post-apocalyptic wasteland overrun by giant insects and robots. Progress through atmospheric environments. This just came out today. There is a demo. Okay, it looks super old school, but super cool. Yeah, I'll give it a try. I'll give it a shot. That's neat, man. Thanks for that. You hate messing with PCs. I don't mess with PCs. I don't even know what that means. I mean, how am I? Here's me messing with it. I go to I go over here, and I say, oh, okay, well, this guy just recommended that demo. Let me bring it up. Okay. Hang on. I go over here. I'm like, oh, there's a demo. Click demo. I download the demo and I'm playing the game. There's no messing with it. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, consoles curate more. That is true. That is absolutely true. And if that's the kind of, if you're not looking to sort of like, I would say I'm like a foodie when it comes to video games, right? I want to try everything. I have a very broad palette of taste, but if you're just like, dude, I just fucking want to play a normal video game, have it look cool on my TV. I don't want to worry about this, that, or the other. I don't want to worry about, do I get it through Epic? Do I get it through good old games? Okay, sure. But yeah, I don't, I agree with you, Jonas. Now we have Fire Sticks and built-in streaming. Makes it easy to cast your PC on a TV for $20. You get a wireless adapter. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm with you on that as well, for sure. Okay. Well, folks, that is the show for tonight. It's a little shorter than I had hoped, but I am worried about the internet and I don't want to get into trailers and stuff if we are getting the lag, but I am committed. We are getting fiber. We're supposed to be getting it tomorrow, I think, but we've had some scheduling snafus. So, but in the meantime though, I may be back tonight streaming, but I'll definitely be back tomorrow streaming some stuff, including Esoteric Ebb. And I'll be on Colin's show again coming up this Monday doing sacred streaming at 10 o'clock California time. I will be back tomorrow at 7 a.m. on Lolcow Crypt doing the show over there. So hopefully I'll see you guys soon, but I do want to say thank you guys for the support. Thank you for watching the show. Thank you for the good conversations, the call-ins. And, that's all I got. You guys are awesome. You guys are very generous with your time and money. I do appreciate that. Be well, be safe. And I will see you on the next Gabbing Game.